In today's video, I'm going to examine 4 reasons why I disagree with Dave Ramsey. Coming up. What's up, Money Geeks? Mr. V here with Plenties.com. Real quick though, if this is your first time here, we talk about life, we talk about careers, and we talk about money and how to become debt free. So if you're not yet a money geek, go ahead and hit that subscribe button here or hit the YouTube card over here. There's so many ways to subscribe. So before any of you Ramseyites get on my case and chew me out, let me explain 4 reasons why I disagree with Dave Ramsey. Number 1 is that he doesn't allow people to file for bankruptcy. So it's kind of ironic because this is a guy that in 1988 filed for bankruptcy along with his wife Sharon. He was a realtor and borrowed money from banks and bought some property and did some real estate stuff, and for some reason went under. He filed for bankruptcy, and that's how he was able to get himself out of it. But today when I watch Dave's show, I get annoyed sometimes because some people would come up with some serious debt and have problems. Instead of him telling them to do exactly what he did to get out of debt by filing for bankruptcy, he chastised these people and talked down on these people as if they did something wrong and something immoral. He makes it feel as if filing for bankruptcy is the end of the world. If it worked for you, how come it can't work for these people? And he usually says, oh, if you spend the money, you better pay for it. So my question to you, Dave, is didn't you spend the money when you filed for bankruptcy in 1988? You did, didn't you? But bankruptcy helped you out, and today you own a big business because you were able to get yourself out of that situation. So how come it's a crime for other people to file for bankruptcy? I just want to know. So reason number 2 I disagree with Dave Ramsey is that he says don't use any credit cards. Stay away from credit cards. Credit cards are evil. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, credit cards back in the days were really, really bad. But in 2017, credit cards have been so good. As long as you are capable of paying your bills in full, credit cards are not evil. They've actually made it in such a way that you can use credit cards to make money, because right now we are being paid here at home to use our credit cards. We pay all our monthly bills using our credit cards. And so what happens is that all the cash back that we get from these credit cards is free because we don't pay any interest. We pay our bill in full every month. So why don't you revise your book or your statement sometimes when you talk about credit cards and say credit cards have changed, they've evolved. You can now use them as long as you can pay in full. You can use them, and credit cards is not as bad as you would think. I understand that there's people that are very impulsive with their spending. Yes, those people can stay away from credit card, but explain that for people that are responsible with money, they've paid off their debt and they can pay off their credit cards in full every month. Credit cards are not that bad. So I don't see why you should stay away from credit cards and just spend just cash, even though you're debt free and you can control your money. Point number 3 is that he says you don't need a credit score. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you don't have a credit score, you don't have millions of dollars saved up, you don't have a ton of money in your bank account, you are working at a disadvantage, because your credit score is what opens you up to good credit. And so your credit score is directly related to how much credit the bank can give you, because that's what the bank uses to determine if you're trustworthy. So if you want to buy a house, the bank would say, oh, you have a good credit score, which means that you can pay your bills on time, or you've been paying your bills on time. The bank will give you a lower interest rate. They believe you. But if you have a lower credit score, the bank will jack up your interest rate because they don't really trust you, because it looks like you haven't been paying your bill on time, or you've defaulted on some of your payments. So a good credit score is required for an average person. Any middle class person requires a good credit score. If you're a millionaire, credit scores don't really apply to you because you have the cash to do whatever you want to do. To buy a home, you can pay cash. But for somebody that's like starting up, you don't have $300,000 to put down for a house, you need credit score to be able to borrow money from the bank. As a matter of fact, I just created a video that's talking about how your credit score can help you gain financial power. So I'll link that video up here. So things that you can do to leverage your credit score to actually build wealth. Dave Ramsey doesn't think that credit score is worth it. Maybe because he's a millionaire and that works for him. He was able to borrow money prior to 1988 before he even filed for bankruptcy. Did they check your credit score? And if the answer is yes, how do you think that worked out for you and it shouldn't work for some other person right now? And so finally, point number 4 is that income inequality is really not true. My perspective on that is that income inequality does exist. And hear me out here, guys. Income inequality for somebody that makes, say, $200,000 a year cannot compare with somebody that makes $30,000 a year. Wouldn't be able to buy the same house, drive the same car. Your kids are not going to go to the same colleges just because they can't afford it. So income inequality is definitely real. Some people can hustle as much as they want. They'll find themselves in a particular group, say making $45,000 a year, and while other people are way up there. I know Dave says, oh yes, you can do some extra work here and there. You can go back to school. You can do all those things. But all those things come at a cost. What if you have a family and have kids? If you abandon your kids and go back to school or do some extra work and work on the weekends, it impacts your relationship with your kids. Guess what? Your kids are gonna grow up and hate you because you never spend any time with them. Or your wife is gonna probably wanna leave you because you're never home. She didn't marry an empty house. She married a husband who was never home. So income inequality definitely exists. How we can address that, it's totally up to the individual or up to the community. But just acknowledging that it does exist is something that I disagree with Dave. So to conclude, before you guys start leaving hate comments below, hear me out. Dave is an amazing guy. He has a tremendous team, has a tremendous business. I love all the members on his team, especially Chris Hogan. Boy, his voice is amazing. Someday when I grow up, I want to be like Chris Hogan. Anyways, Dave has helped thousands of people get out of debt and stay out of debt. So by no means am I trying to say that Dave is not whatever he thinks he is. Dave is an amazing dude. I mean, I might disagree with him, a few things here and there, but overall, people are getting out of debt because of his message. People love that message and is resonating, and people are really practicing the baby steps. And I've seen and talked to hundreds of people that have actually followed those steps and become debt free and love it. And his style of kind of like blending religion and money and actually showing that side of money from a biblical standpoint, it resonated with a ton of people. And so I still think that he's the best at what he does. What's up, Money Geeks? If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you found the video very helpful, go ahead and share it with one friend. And if you can relate to what I'm talking about, let me know in the comment section below. And remember that some of the best tips come from you guys in the Plunges community. I release new videos every week on life, career, and money. And if you don't want to miss out on this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And as always, keep crushing that debt, and we'll talk soon.